We have grown from myself having 25 students up to 150. Overall, this is a great little side gig because during the day I am momming to three beautiful girls. If you're looking to open a music school, I would say the best piece of advice would be we have grown from myself having 25 students up to 150, and we do private and group lessons. Hi guys, my name is Ashley Glessner, owner and one of the instructors here at Dynamic Music Studio. We opened in March of 2020. I was a solo teacher for 10 years, teaching voice, piano, and violin. I started my music school because I was tired of working for other studios with owners who couldn't do the job as good as me. I know that sounds really silly. I taught privately for 10 years under various different studio owners in the area, and the studio, when I opened it, became a combination of what I liked and what I didn't like from other owners, but I still didn't have a clue of what I was doing. And I'm really thankful for BAM. So, a day in the life of running Dynamic Music Studio can vary based on the days. We're only open Monday through Thursday in the evenings. So, some nights I could be teaching privately, I could be running the studio, manning the office. We just launched our after school programs this past year in the fall of 2024. So, 2 nights a week, I go into the schools after school and we learn about music. So, it kind of varies day to day. I would say overall, every week I work about 20, maybe 30 hours, depending on what activities are happening, like if we have a recital or a gig. But overall, this is a great little side gig because during the day I am momming to three beautiful girls. And then in the evenings, I'm a boss babe running my studio. So I think some of the biggest challenges of running a music school is that in music school, this is something they don't teach you. Honestly, the reason I opened my studio was this was my backup job. I taught all the way through undergrad and graduate school, and every company told me I was overqualified with a master's degree. My background's in music technology, even though I've taught private lessons now for 15 years. When we opened our studio, it was March of 2020, and I sunk everything that we had into opening our business. 2 weeks later, the entire US shut down. Talk about great timing. So, one of the biggest challenges was pivoting from being a private teacher with 25 students, just opening my first commercial location, not even knowing if I'm going to shut down or not. We pivoted for 8 to 10 weeks online, and then I opened my doors again, and we haven't looked back since. We've just been growing, we've been adding teachers, just all of the different challenges that comes with growth. So, getting creative with people, answering lots of questions, becoming a professional repeater. I dove into a bunch of different business articles to help us grow. I will say investing money in certain areas is better than cheapening out. So, having a really good website, making sure you're marketing, making sure that your teachers understand what your sole focus is as a studio, where we've come from, and where we've grown from there. So, when I decided to launch my own personal studio after teaching privately for 10 years, there was actually supposed to be a business partner. We sat down at a Panera Bread and we came up with this whole business plan, whole business model. We looked at a couple of lease locations, and she actually backed out and I continued forward. So, I signed my original lease in November of 2019. And then we started construction and I came up with the name, we came up with the logo, came up with the website, put all the procedures and policies in place based on various other places I've worked. I knew the general overview of what running a successful studio would look like since I worked in several successful studios. But Dynamic Music Studio is a combination of all of that put together plus my twist. So one of our biggest focuses here at the studio is that we focus on making music fun, and we are a musical family. It's not just, hi, you come in, check the box, we did music lessons, pay your bill, peace out. We're very big on connections here. So connecting with each other, but as well as connecting with music and making it fun. Several valuable lessons I've learned from just running my studio is making sure you always pay yourself as the owner, because you are putting your blood, sweat, and tears into this program, into this business. Another thing is make sure you are very particular about your teachers. Not only do you want them to have a solid foundation as far as like music goes, but you also want them to have a solid foundation personality wise. So somebody could have a ton of accolades as a really great musician, but on the flip side, they're not always an amazing teacher. So you got to go through all the steps when hiring. Multi-step hiring process is really good because the last thing you want is to get a difficult teacher because it kind of sucks the life out of you as an owner. So I look at all my teachers as an extension of me. What quality of music lessons do I want to present? So I want them representing the company as the same. Some other things I learned along the way is don't skimp out on marketing, but you can get creative with your marketing. Make sure everything is cohesive. I would also really recommend working with local rec centers. We've had really positive experience with that in drawing in new customers as well as new students, and they stay. So just building a lot of partnerships is a really good foundation for your business. The more networking and the more people you know, the easier it is for your name to get out in the community and to help you grow. I would recommend always making sure that you use the golden rule of standard for anything in your business. Do unto others as you would have done to yourself. So make sure that when you're working with these other people, that you keep a very good neutral, like working relationship. You don't want to burn any bridges that will hurt your business in the long run. I would say one of the biggest things that I made a change on when we opened was I used to accept cash and check payments, and we no longer do that. We always use auto pay. I would also highly recommend using and doing a lot of research on whatever studio management tool that you purchase to use. We originally had My Music Staff, and they were good when I first started, but they are not great when you grow to a high level studio with lots of like registrations and scheduling changes and just a lot of policy things. So Opus One has been a huge game changer for our studio in the last year just because it's helped us grow. Like, watch what you're investing your money in and make sure it's a tool that will make your life easier. So if I have to pay a couple bucks more to automate fully to take some stuff off my plate to make me a better teacher owner, it's worth the investment. To anyone who's looking to start their music school business, I would say have a good foundation in place. Build everything like you would a solid house. If you don't have a solid foundation in the basement, whatever you build on top is going to crumble. So always have like your finances in order. Make sure you know how much it will cost to invest to start your business. Know what you need state-wise, federally, whatever you need to launch your business. So in the US, we have LLCs, and you need to have all of that infrastructure in place with your tax identification number and your payrolling. All of that needs to be in place for you to open successfully. So to make sure you have your bare minimum margin, but as well too, like your next level, make sure that you can invest in quality like instruments and products that can help you grow successfully. And I think that's what makes a difference too, is if you're an owner, but you also need that piece of the puzzle to be a people person a little bit. And then you also need the piece of the puzzle to be tech savvy in a sense. Like if you don't know the answer, find a way to get the answers. BAM Squad is an amazing tool that can help you go from 0 to 100 to build your music school. And I wish personally I would have found BAM sooner. I didn't find BAM until about 2 to 3 years into my music school business, and it was a huge game changer for us because Johnny and the team has the bucket of tools that can help you from the start that I had to learn the hard way. So having all these different tools in your tool belt before you launch is a great thing. I would also recommend, if you're looking at a commercial space, to be mindful of who you're leasing from. If it's somebody who's just there to take your check and run, might not be a great space for you. Make sure you really trust your landlord or the leasing company. Make sure that they're there to take care of you as a business owner and not make it harder for you, because that's also a piece of the business, because you have to man the lessons and the music instrument side, but you also need a really good space to take care of your people. So overall, I would say the best word of advice is know your bare minimum, build a solid foundation, and then go from there as your music school builds up. I would say when I started my business, I was so scared of spending any extra money at all to invest in myself as a business owner, but also to invest in my business. Everything was focused on marketing and what tools I could find for free. What I will say is a game changer when I shifted my mindset as to what I'm paying for something, does it bring value to bring in more income? And using BAM has been amazing. I would highly recommend it to any music teacher, studio owner. It's a great, wonderful community. You can get on Facebook. There's other music studio owners just like me who are dealing with the same sorts of things that I'm dealing with. There's things that I don't personally know anything about, and they've been extremely helpful, but vice versa. There's been people who are so don't know certain things, and I've been able to share some wisdom that I've learned along my journey. And it's just not only does they have the tools and resources in the library to help you be successful, but they also have the community to back it up. So you're not alone, which is amazing because sometimes as an owner and a boss, you are kind of alienated because your teachers don't understand everything that you're going through, and your family members don't always understand everything you're going through. But another business owner doing the same journey in life that you are, they get it. And it's wonderful. I love BAM Squad, and I would highly recommend joining the team. After having 10 years of experience private teaching for other studio owners, I would say I would personally not go back to working for anybody else. I do like being my own boss. I know it sounds really weird, but if I need to make a decision, I get the choice of making that decision. I don't have someone else making the decisions for me. It does give me freedom and flexibility for my family, and like I can be a more hands-on present mom than I would be if I worked a 9 to 5 job or worked for another studio owner. But I also get the flexibility and freedom of having others underneath me to teach, to allow me to do more fun, creative things that I wouldn't be able to do if I was teaching privately one on one. I wouldn't be able to be a group teacher. I wouldn't be able to do this after school program. I wouldn't be able to network with other folks in the area, with other businesses that we've partnered with, as well as the rec centers and getting a partnership with them. Overall, being my own boss is amazing. Even though it does have its daily struggles, going back to where I was 5 years ago, I don't think I would ever want to go back. It's just been such an amazing journey, and I can't wait to see what keeps coming after the next 5 years. If I could go back and give myself one piece of advice, don't be cheap. Yes, there is a bare minimum. Yes, I need to pay myself as an owner, but you also need to invest in your business so that you can get a bigger return. So there's only so much that doing stuff for free or finding stuff gently used will last. And overall, in the long run, it's better to make small investments that pay off over time. So if you're looking to open a music school, I would say the best piece of advice would be to do your research. Know your areas, know where potential other competing businesses would be located. So do like a 2 mile radius, 3, 4 mile radius, 5, 6, 8, 10. Know all the music schools that are surrounding you. Look for a location that you don't have a ton of competition, or an area where not only is the commercial lease affordable, but it's a good space, as in like the radius for the total amount of income median for a family is a pretty good number. Know your ideal customer and who you're trying to target when you're doing your marketing. So all of these things I took into consideration when I opened my studio, and that's how I ended up in the space that I'm in now, is just because the higher level of income for the radius, as well as there is very minimal competition within 3 to 4 miles of my current studio location. So I don't have a direct competition, but also just knowing what is surrounding you to help you set up to be a successful business overall.